Today I will be discussing the addition property of inequality. The addition property of inequality states that if you add the same number to each side of an inequality, it actually provides an equivalent inequality. This is very similar to the addition property of equality, where if you have an equation and you add the same number to both sides, it will give you an equivalent equation. This is the same thing except with inequalities. Let's take a look at this example. If we want to isolate the variable, it's going to be the same process as if you were isolating the variable with an equation. So to do that, because we have this minus 6, to undo subtraction, we want to add. So we want to add 6 to the left-hand side because those will cancel out. But as that addition property of inequality states, if we add 6 to one side, we have to do it to the other side to keep the inequality equivalent. When we do that, the left-hand side, these two are going to cancel out because minus 6 plus 6 gets you 0. So we will have x is less than or equal to, this symbol is just going to come right down. When you're adding a number to both sides, this symbol stays the same. It comes down, and then we have negative 10 plus 6, which gets us negative 4. If you wanted to graph your inequality once you had the variable isolated, you can go ahead and roughly sketch out a simple number line. Negative 4 is about right here. That's where we're going to put our dot, and since we have a greater than or equal to symbol, we will fill in that dot. And since x is greater than or equal to negative 4, we want all the numbers bigger than negative 4. So if we shade, we're going to shade to the right. With this next inequality, again, we're still isolating the variable, and once we do that, we have solved the inequality. So to do that, we want to undo that subtraction by adding, and we're going to add 1/4 to both sides. A minus 1/4 plus 1/4, those two cancel out, leaving you with y. Again, the inequality symbol will carry down when you're adding a number to both sides. And 1/4 plus 1/4 will get us 1/2. If you wanted to, you could flip the inequality so that the variable is on the left-hand side. I know that is something that a lot of people are comfortable with, but if you want to rewrite it with the variable on the left-hand side, you can switch the variable and the number, but the inequality symbol has to flip around. If you think about it, it's opening towards the y here, so when you flip it, it also has to open towards the y. And again, if we wanted to graph this, you have 0, 1/2, and 1. We will have an open dot at 1/2 because it's not greater than or equal to, it's just greater than, so we don't fill in the dot. And y is bigger than 1/2, so any number bigger than 1/2 we will shade to the right. And just to kind of sum up that property, the addition property of inequality just states that if you add one number to one side, you have to add it to the other side to keep the inequality equivalent. And that is the addition property of inequality.